This on the side of my face is shingles. Last Sunday, I developed these, and with Cindy and Karen working very hard on me, we've gotten it looking
Looks
pretty
good.
good.
So much better.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, my eye is open finally, so I can see.
Yeah.
Yes, I am from Maine. I was born and raised in Maine. I live probably 20 miles from where I grew up. I live out in the country. It's wonderful. And I've been married for 20 years. I have 2 children, and my husband has 3 children, 6 grandchildren, and a great grandbaby. Yeah, so I've always studied metaphysical sciences. When I was young, I had the ability to see spirit and hear spirit, which wasn't anything that was accepted in my home. So I shut it down when I was about 16, but I always knew there was something more than what we can see. So I studied, and then I found numerology, and I just love it. I love it. Yeah.
So
Yeah, you heard if you watched the interview, you heard how I came about finding numerology. Do you want me to tell you?
oh, I have a question regarding, did your ability to see and hear spirit come back to you?
Not as full force as it was when I was a child, but yes, I do have abilities. Yeah. Yes, I love them. I love working with spirit. Yeah. But they help me in my readings, but it's the numbers that I really follow. I get to intuitive hits, or I might get pictures or things that come through when I'm reading, but I really follow the charts. Numerology, the numbers really will tell the story.
Absolutely, because my husband was like laughing when I told him what you shared about my personality. He goes, yes. This is like a checklist for him, like he goes,
yeah,
absolutely, Cindy, absolutely. You do that all the time. Thank you.
Yeah, it's so validating. It's amazing. It's very empowering after a reading, isn't it?
Yes.
You really feel like you finally connected back, or you understand some of those idiosyncrasies, or very empowering.
That it's part of who you are rather than it's something you have to fix. It's just, to more accepting of, this is who I am. This is how I'm gifted to this world, and to share it.
Right.
The other thing too, I really liked when I interviewed you, is that you took a full year to really practice before you started to pay. And Healing Touch, most people do that because from level 4 to level 5, they do 100 treatments. And so maybe just share a little bit about that again, that, what you learned by doing those over 100 treatments free.
Yeah. My mentor said to me one day, you've really got to get out and start to do readings, because that's when you're going to be able to put the patterns together. You're going to get the experience. You're going to hear the stories and how the energy is working with different people. Well, I didn't think I was ready to do that. I mean, that was like, but she talked me into it, and I figured, well, if it was free, they can't complain too much, right? So it was wonderful, because everybody was very good to me, and everybody were explained different ways of how the energy was working. Like I said, when I first started, I was afraid to get up in the morning because I had so much anxiety. At the end of that year, I couldn't wait to get up in the morning and read for people, because I could see how much it helped them. Yeah.
Excellent. Sue, I have a question before we get started, is that the picture isn't clear like the last time we did a Zoom call?
It doesn't at night. It doesn't.
Oh, it's at night? Okay.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm kind of in the haze.
Yeah, just like the air is a haze through
Yeah.
most of North America right now.
It must
so,
be my
okay.
camera because it doesn't come in any clearer.
Okay, not a problem. I have a girlfriend coming over this week who's going to show me lighting and where to situate your light so that you get a clearer picture. So I'll share that with you. And
Well, maybe,
Mhm.
yeah, maybe that will help. Yeah, yeah, that would be nice.
All right, well, take it away, Sue. That's a great introduction. Thank you.
Well, yes, and thank you for everybody introducing yourself. I appreciate that. Okay, so what is numerology? Basically, it's the study of the numbers 1 through 9. That's it. Everything vibrates, as we know, which produces energy. And each individual number has its own characteristic, its own personality, its own essence. So, for instance, if I see a number 1, I know that this person is very independent. I know that they're self-reliant. They think outside of the box. They're very strong. It's very strong energy. It's about self. It's number 1. The 2 energy is all about leaning on people. It's peace and harmony. They're very soft people. They love from their heart, and they love memories, and they're very intuitive. 2s are. They also can suffer with anxiety because of this high sensitivity that they have. They pick up on other people's energy. 3s are very creative. They're playful. They use their words very well. So they can be writers. They can be actors, people up on the stage. But the 3 really wants to learn how to express itself from its heart. The 4, I always call the 4 the grown-up number. It's very practical. It does all the right steps in order. It's structured. If you write the number 4, you can see those 4 cornerstones. So it holds things very solid. It's a hard worker. Whereas 5, it's all about freedom. They don't like to be closed in at all. Even relationships are hard for them because they need to be able to pick up and leave whenever they want. 6 is about relationships, and it's about relationships with family and friends and community. Excuse me. The 7 is it's a spiritual number, and it's about self-reflection. It's digging deep, looking within. It likes research, science, metaphysical sciences even. 8 is all about material success. It wants to climb the ladder. It doesn't want to stay at the bottom and flip hamburgers. It wants to be the CEO, and it wants to have status. The 9 is the humanitarian. This is the last number that I study. It's all about selfless service for other people. And now if I take all the numbers 1 through 8, I add those all together, I get 36. 3 plus 6 is 9. So it encompasses all the energies. Now, 9 can be notorious. It can flip really quickly to being a really kind person to not so kind person. And that's because 9 is teaching us unconditional love, forgiveness, and letting go. Do you have any questions about that? Now a chart, I don't know if you can see this. Can you see this? Can you see
Yeah,
that?
but don't move it. It gives me a headache. Oh,
That's-
there. Okay.
That's a chart that I read. There are no 2 charts that are the same. I see patterns in things, but there's always different numbers on the outside that are influencing different things. So this is when numerology is so cool, because there's absolutely no way I could ever judge anybody, because I know that we all are very different, and we're all here trying to accomplish something to help our souls grow. Letters. Every letter is associated with a number. So when I look at your name given at birth, I can add that up. And then that tells me some information. But the other thing that's kind of fun about letters is they're symbols. So the way that they're written also tells me things. For instance, the letter A. The A stands very strong on the ground. It's very firm. It's not going to move. It points right up. It closes at the spiritual level, and it connects within the mental plane. So an A is usually very much in their head. They're always thinking. It doesn't mean they're not spiritual. It doesn't mean, but I do know that they're very analytical. The letter C. The C faces to the future. It's open, and it can see. It can have psychic ability if it opens that up. Let's do the letter H. The H is like a ladder. This is the number 8. It wants to climb the ladder. It wants to get to the top. The O is a number 6. So it's about relationships. It's about the heart, but it's closed. So it's holding something next to its heart that maybe it's not releasing. So in the reading, I would be kind of questioning if maybe they need to try to open up a little bit more. So even each letter is very important to me when I'm reading. Now, the other thing that's interesting in a chart is if you're missing letters in your name, that tells me something. That tells me that this is maybe a little something that you're working on. If you're missing, which this happens a lot, the letter, the 2s, which is a B, K, or T. If there aren't any in your name, that tells me that maybe you're here working towards being a little bit more patient, a little more compassionate, trying to understand how to work in groups a little bit better. And sometimes there's an overabundance of letters, like E, N, W. Those are 5s. A lot of people have a lot of those in their name. When I see a lot of 5 energy, sometimes I get concerned about overindulgence with food or wine. They're even saying now technology, because 5 has a very heightened physical senses, so it feeds those senses. Do you have any questions so far? Anything? Anybody? No?
Oh, yeah. So Sue, this is Patty. I'm just curious, where does this information come from? Is it like, like astrology, like Sherry was talking about? It's been around for 1,000 years and it keeps, building on it. Is numerology the same way?
Correct. Yes,
Oh.
it's been around for thousands of years. I study Pythagoras numerology.
Okay.
Yeah, and also, I don't know if you've ever heard of Juno Jordan. She was a big numerologist. We always call her the grandmother of numerology because she really brought it to the forefront again. It kind of settled back, and this is a funny thing because I asked one of my girlfriends, why do you think astrology is so popular and numerology, you hear about it, but you don't, people don't do it. And her reply was very good. She said, because everybody loves to look at the planets. That's fun. They like to gaze at the planets. But when you talk about numerology, you think of math. And so people veer away from it. I don't know if that's true or not, but there's very few numerologists. There's 2 of us in the state of Maine. Yeah. Oh, yes. And I'm so excited. I might as well share my news. I'm going to be studying with the Coniston School of Numerology in the UK starting in October. And I will probably be the first one to receive that diploma in America because
Wow.
I've never done it online.
Wow.
Yeah, so I'm really, really, really excited about that.
Wow.
So I
yeah.
had a question.
Yeah.
I didn't hear what you said. If you are missing letters in your chart, what were those letters and what did that mean? I didn't hear you.
Well, it's just an example. If a B, the letter B, K, or T are all numbered, they represent the twos. And a lot of people don't have those letters in their name. And that would tell me that they are working on maybe being a little more patient, maybe working on the ability to work in groups. Two is a very peaceful, calm energy. So I'm always aware of missing number letters because those are lessons that we're here working on.
Thank you.
Can I ask, when you say your name, do you mean you're like your full name, like mine's Colleen Eleanor Roberts, or would you just go Colleen Roberts?
It would be your name given at birth.
Yeah.
That's very important, all of it. Yeah.
All of it. Okay.
Yeah, if you're adopted and you don't know your name given at birth, that's happened to me. I can read what you're going by, but it's what we call a minor expression. I'm not getting the full information that I could if I had the full name. But I never refuse anybody. We always talk, and it will resonate to a certain point. But when I'm doing it, I know I'm missing things. It's like when we get married and we change our names, we take on our husband's energy, the last name.
That's why
And
some of us didn't need it.
they say when a woman gets divorced, it's very important for her to take back that maiden name because then she goes back into her own power.
In Quebec, we don't take the man's name. We keep our own.
Yeah.
And I did.
There you go, girls.
Yeah.
Yeah, you rule.
The first time my husband got called John Roberts, someone was introducing, and they said, "This is Colleen and John Roberts," and he said, "Oh no, my name's John Rickard. I kept my name when I got married," which is his standard line now.
Yeah, those are good questions. Keep them coming. Keep them coming. Now, I work with the
Somebody named baby. This is a significant thing. Then you're really what you name your child at
very
birth.
much so.
So we have the same name. So would two people with the same name have a lot of similar qualities then?
Yes.
No?
Yeah. In the way you express yourself, your heart's desire, and your personality, yes. But the life path would be different, and I'll explain a little bit more about that. But yeah, okay. You would. So you have the same name as your daughter? Is that what you said?
No, you. I'm Sue. I'm Susan.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
It was a popular name in the 60s and 70s. So there's
right.
a whole tribe of us out there. I worked in the case room and there was 5 Susans, so it was crazy.
Yeah.
We didn't know who they wanted, but it's interesting.
Right. I don't know if you've noticed, but every 11th year, something significant usually happens. You have to go back and think about that every 11th year. And it's because of the letter S. The letter S is a kind of rocky letter. It doesn't sit stable. It has the ability to rock, and it can cause a little bit of chaos at certain times in our lives. And it's usually, for us, with the Susan, it would be around the 11th year. Okay, so the birth date tells me so much information, but it's mostly working on outside influences, what's coming in, what energy is influencing us, bringing in of different events and opportunities. The name our name, is what is happening inside of us. The expression number. Well, let me start with the life path, because that's really the most important. And I get that from month, day, and year of birth. And the life path is energy. We do bring that in with us. We are learning it and re-experiencing it. It's helping us on the life path. But life path is like law of attraction. It attracts things to us. And this is what we're working around to help our expression grow. For instance, I have a 6 life path. This is all about family, friends, and community. My family is everything to me. I work with my son. My daughter lives right across the street. But as a child, I had a lot of things to deal with. I had 2 alcoholic parents. Now I had to be the grown up. I had to be the one to take care of everybody. So that 6th life path has helped me grow to where I am today. So each life path has its own meaning. The birthday, the day you were born, is what tells me your natural talents and abilities that help you along that path. I was born on the 13th, and we always take every double-digit number, we add them together to get the single number. So that would be a 4. I'm very good with details. I like structure. I like to have everything organized. I'm always got my to-do list out, and I'm always checking things off, and I really like doing that. So those are my natural talents and abilities. Somebody give me a birth date, just a day of birth.
June 10th.
The 10th. You're a very strong woman, very independent. You have the abilities to think outside of the box and very original in your thinking. A lot of people probably don't understand how you come to the conclusions that you do, and you don't really care because you're going to do it the way you want to do it. That makes sense?
Yes.
Yeah,
Is that for just the number 10?
that's from the 10, yeah. And it's 10, that 0 is making that 1 10 times stronger. Yeah. Yeah.
What happens if you have a 2, if it adds up to 10? Like, does it matter when you said when it adds up? So how do you?
Well, I always take the double-digit numbers and I add them together to get the single number.
Okay.
The 2 digits before the single number tells me how that number operates. For instance, if I have just a plain 5, I know that 5, that person or it likes freedom. It doesn't want to be held back. It wants to be movement constantly. It gets bored very easily. Now, if I have a 14-5, there's a 4 in there. So that 4 is holding that 5 back because 4 is the grown-up number. So it's kind of feels like it's stuck in a box a lot of times. It can't go the way it wants to go. And a 23-5, that's kind of a dangerous number in that I have seen a lot of overindulgence, a lot of abuse with 23-5. Because 2 stands back. It's the observer. It doesn't usually necessarily think for itself. And 3 is all about having a good time, no responsibilities. And then when you put that in with the 5 and the freedom, yeah, there can be some issues with overindulgence.
How about a 9?
What's that?
How about a 9?
A 9. The 9. You want to take care of people. You look at the big picture, not necessarily the small, the details. You're trying to figure out how to help the whole picture. Very artistic. I don't know if you're artistic or not, but 9 is very multi-talented. Remember, it contains all the numbers 1 through 8. So there's a little bit of everything going on within a 9. It is about unconditional love, forgiveness, and letting go. Does that make sense?
Yes, it does.
Yeah. Yeah. So, okay, so then this is if I was doing a reading for you and we were sitting and I was talking about what I would call your core energy, the energy that makes you who you are. We would always start with a life path and then we would go to the birthday. Then I get into the expression number, your heart's desire, and your personality. This is all I get from your name. And remember, when we're working with your name, it's about what's going on inside of you. So the expression number really is what you're here working on. This is on your life path, which is the stage of your life. This is how you're trying to deal with everything. The heart's desire is your vowels in your name, the soft sound, and this is what keeps you very passionate. This is what makes you happy. They always say if a therapist knew what their heart's desire was and really worked on that, you could cut to the chase real quick, because you need to honor that. If your heart is happy, then you are happy. Your personality is what you project out to other people before you allow them into your heart. It's like a wall. I'm just looking at a chart here. Yeah, okay. And then at a certain age in our life, which is usually late 40s, early 50s, I take and I add the life path to the heart's, to the expression number, and I get the ultimate goal. What have you been working towards? What is your later years going to be? And I think that's a wonderful thing to know, because some people don't plan to retire. Some people, but they already know that. They can feel that when I talk to them about it. And some people, for instance, I have a 7. I always say I have the 6, which is all about my family. I have a 1 expression number, so I'm very strong-willed. I rule the family. I tell them I feel like the Italian mom, you know. I'm in the kitchen cooking and cleaning and spouting off, and we're all having a good time. But when I add those together, I get a 7. That is so different than what I've experienced so far in my life up to about age 48. 7 is when you pull back. This is when I'm going to start using my mind. I'm done with the gym. I'm done without being out running and out doing all that hard work, because 7 isn't about physical labor. It's about your greatest asset is your mind with 7. And I mean, this is when I started numerology. This is when it all started to, so here I am in my desk reading my books, doing readings for people and helping them, which is the 6. The 6 is the healer, the one who does our nurses, our doctors, the energy workers. And that number 1 gave me the strength to step outside to do those 3 readings for a year, because that was tough. That was very hard. I was a wreck for about 6 months because I didn't want to give anybody bad advice. So you see, does that all make sense to you? How that kind of all wraps together?
Sue, to give them an example, I could share, I've got written down here, my ultimate goal, because then they'll know. I always wanted to be a teacher, so mine was a 9, my life path and my expression. Working for justice for others, spiritual skills, universal love. This energy is ramping up and understanding how important it is. So does that sound like me?
Yeah, isn't that amazing? Because you've worked very, very hard to get to where you are today, right? And now it's more about working for the people instead of working for yourself. Yeah.
And that's why we're here today.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, so then, if we would do I was sitting here doing a reading with you, I would say, okay, now we're going to switch gears because I'm going back to the birth date, and I'm going to work with that. And we have 4 pentacles in our life and 4 challenges. These work off the life path, okay? The first pentacle and the last pentacle are the longest. The middle 2 are 9 years each, and they're each followed by a challenge. The pentacle is energy that comes in. It's something you're supposed to live up to. It's like changing a job or being promoted to a different section in the building. You have to relearn how to do it, how to get along with people and how they want things to do. This is what this energy does. It switches it up on your life path. So I guess probably so we don't get bored and we get to learn things in different ways. The challenge that follows that is nothing to fear, because a challenge, if we know what it is, we can learn how to jump over that, and then it becomes our greatest asset. My whole life, I challenged myself with the number 1. Now that's my expression number. And yes, I have worked very hard for self-confidence, self-esteem, all those. I could see throughout my life how those times that those roadblocks came in and I had to get the strength to jump over it so that I could become stronger. So, and the funny thing about a challenge is too, if somebody was to meet me, you wouldn't think I had low self-esteem. I would have problems with low self-esteem or self-confidence. It's an inside thing that you work with. You're trying to figure that out. And then after that, we start talking about the personal year energy. And this is what I'm going to teach you guys how to do tonight. The personal year energy there's themes. We work in 9-year epicycles, and there's a theme for every year, and it switches things up on our pentacle, and it switches things up on the life path. It just kind of twirls it all together. And by me doing a reading, I can explain all that, what it's doing and trying to help you get through. So I'll use my garden as an analogy. The first year, we plant the seed, new beginnings. The second year is when the seed is under the soil. I can't dig it up. I've got to be patient. I got to let the magic happen. The third year is when it starts to manifest. There's manifestation, there's creation. The fourth year is rototilling. It's work, it's hard work. I got to weed. I got to keep this garden looking well and tend to it. The fifth year is the pivotal year. I can walk away. I can say I've had enough of it. Or I can even stay in the garden and make changes, try to figure out how to make a few changes. The sixth year is when I start sharing all my fruit and vegetables with my family, my friends. The seventh year is the year I lean on the hoe and I start thinking about how I'm going to make this garden better next year. And I'm going to probably do some research and try to figure that out. The 8th year, I reap what I sow. If I put in that work and didn't walk away in the 5th year, but the 5th year, I would get some tomatoes if I'd walked away. But if I stayed there and worked hard, I'm going to get a lot of tomatoes. The 9th year, I have to rototill that garden up. I've got to clean things out. I got to purge, get it all cleaned out so that I'm ready for the 1st year to come back. And then we talk about the personal month energy, because that changes too. Those are little undercurrents that keep switching things up. And then you can even go into the personal day. So it all works together. So there's so much information in a numerology reading. And then I have people say, well, you only need one reading. I don't believe that, because I believe it takes a while for us to learn the energy that we're working with, and what energy do we feel comfortable in. what energy are we going to really excel in. I know for a fact that 9 energy is not a good energy for me. I don't have any physical energy. I feel 9 is about completions and endings. So I know when 9 is around me, I have to complete those projects maybe that I've been putting on the back burner. But I don't plan to do an awful lot in a 9-day, like Karen was saying. Yesterday was her 9-day. And that's not what, like everybody. Some people really do well with 9 around them. But I look forward to the 1 energy. I have 1 energy in my core energy, and that gives me the giddy up go to get it done. And I feel good in 1. Yeah. Any questions?
Yes, I have a question, Sue.
Okay.
So I understand how the birthday would be very important, but your name isn't given to you from the heavens, it's given to you by your parents.
Right.
And they could try to decide between 2 or 3 different names. So how can the name impact and make a difference on your personality when it's not?
You would be surprised. They say, because I have a very analytical mind, so when I read things that I can't prove, I'm always a little bit careful how I say it. But I have read that it's a conscious thing between mother and baby at the time. You know, how many times do you hear parents say, "Well, I can't name the baby until I meet the child," or "I've got 3 names and I have to look at the baby before I can give the child." When I take sometimes I read for families, which is really fun. I love reading for parents about their children because I just think it's so helpful for them to understand where their strengths are. When I lay those charts out in front of me, you'd be amazed at how connected those energies are. It always amazes me. And this is where sometimes we get in trouble when we adopt children. Not that I'm saying I believe firmly in adoption, but not all adoptions are comfortable. And a lot of times I believe, which I haven't had the opportunity to read for a family that has trouble with an adopted child, but I believe that the energy is probably so out of sorts from what the families is that they can't connect.
Mm. Thank you.
Yeah.
So Sue, I have a question. I'm curious about if there's like a number meaning to like larger things, like for example, COVID. COVID's a challenge the world is dealing with right now. Is there a number associated with that?
Yeah, we can, let me see.
I think it's 19, if not, no, just kidding. Sorry. Sorry, Patty.
That's okay.
I'll mute myself. Also, yeah.
COVID comes to the number 26-8, which is very interesting. Now the 2, remember, brings in groups of people. The 6 is the healing number. Now 8 is a funny number because 8 brings in test, right? There's a fine line of balance when 8 is around. It tips very easily financially, with relationships. It can bring in health problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
it's interesting.
Yeah, I'll say. Thank you. And again, it's something that's impacting all of us. So when you were talking about challenges, for example, I was thinking, well, we're all going through that challenge right now. So
Right. Well, I think it's a universal year.
Okay.
That's kicking in.
Yeah.
All of us numerologists sat down and we talked about 2020, and we all knew that it was going to be a bad flu season because of the number 4. The 4 can bring in health issues, and it mostly because it's so restricted, so limited. What happened this year? We all were limited. We all were restricted. But none of us had any idea of the magnitude of what was coming until we all saw it coming in. But
Yeah.
we did pick up on that. For this year would have been a higher uh, rate of flu. And
Thank you.
so let's look at this. We get and why was the upset? What's happening with our world? 2020. We have two twos, right? When you have numbers that are matching, that intensifies that energy, and a lot of times that will push that out of balance, because we have overbalance, we have underbalance, and we have the balance. So when you have twos that are a two, it likes peace and harmony. I've said that. It likes to be tactful, diplomatic. It's kind, it's loving. When it gets out of balance, it becomes very indecisive, oversensitive, vindictive, very unhappy. It can lie. It can push people around, be very deceitful. There can be secrets that come out. It can be, when it gets really out of balance, which I feel we're really out of balance right now, I think that's what's pushing and then when you have four, two's already out of balance, so it's kicking four in the pants, and when four becomes out of balance, it becomes judgmental, very crude, intolerant, opinionated, very uncompromising. So now what pushed that out of balance? I have no idea. The two twos had a little bit to do with it, but I also believe that the planets there's a whole bunch of things that are working around. I don't know much about astrology, so I don't even pretend, but I have astrology friends, and they say the planets are even doing things that they haven't done for a long time.
Right, right.
So there's an awful lot going on, but I do, for hope, next year is going to be an interesting year. I don't think we're going to settle down an awful lot, because then we're going into a 5 personal year, universal year. And then there's a 1 in there, a 2, and a 1. One is, the 1 might help us bring in a little bit of new opportunities, a little bit of maybe helping us be able to think outside of the box a little bit more. And remember, I'm talking universally. This isn't just to one person. This is what the world is looking at. But the 5 wants freedom. It wants to be able to move. It wants to be in constant motion. What was I going to say? Oh yes, 5 is very good. We're going to have to watch next year. It's going to be about communication, and I think that's the news. I think that's social media. I think something's going to come about with communication, because 5's going to push that to some type of change. It also brings in travel, so that will be interesting. Now, whether we travel more to space or what happens with travel, I'm not sure, but it could be something new because of that 1 in 2021. But the year I'm really looking forward to is 2022. Now, I know there's a lot of 2s there, but I'm hoping that we get a little bit more imbalance. And this when I add that together, that's a 6 universal year. That's a year of healing.
Oh, good. Thank God.
So hopefully there's going to be some peace, and we're gonna all be able to find that peace and harmony that those 2s want, and bring in that healing that we all need. So there's hope. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Thank you.
We're gonna work hard on it.
I just have a question about what about the house numbers that you live at? Does that have anything?
Yeah, it does. Yeah. What number do you live at?
4642.
So it's a 7. Have you lived there for a long time?
No, just 7 years. I was at 2307 before.
Because 7 is a home. It would be a home where it's a peaceful home. It's quiet. It likes its quietness. it likes to study and read. This is a very spiritual number. Is your house active? Do you
Only in the summertime. We live at the lake, so we have lots and lots of people come to visit in the summer, and it's awesome. We have lots of fun. It's a fun house. It's great, and it was really strange this year. Last year we had 37 nights of visitors in July and August, and this year we had nobody.
Oh,
People are willing to, they're not our kids. They're willing to kill their parents by being around COVID, but not their aunt and uncle that have the lake house, the boat, and the beach. So they didn't visit us. But it is a very calm house. It's a very calm house. It's
it is, yeah.
So
Yeah, you feel very peaceful there. I don't have your chart, so I don't know exactly what your energy is, but the 7 energy is very spiritual, very peaceful, and yeah, nice.
thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so you all want to learn how to do your personal year energy? This is real fun. It's very easy. Really,
do we need a pen and paper? Do we need a pen and paper?
Yeah,
Okay.
if you got one. And it's always fun to do somebody else's too, because sometimes we see other people's energy a little bit better than we do our own. So all we're working with is our month of birth and our day of birth. Now remember, all double-digit numbers need to be added together to get that single number. Okay, so I was born 6/13, so I'm going to go 6 plus 4, and then I add the universal year plus 4.
The universal year, is that the year you were born?
No, the universal year is 2020.
Oh,
So the number 4. So it's the month, day of birth, plus the number 4.
and this is going to give us our thing for just today, like
Nope.
next year.
This is the year that you're in right now. And each year has its own theme.
Oh, okay.
Now remember, if your answer comes up double digit, make sure you add those 2 numbers together. Okay, hold on, I gotta.
Okay, so I did mine.
Now, did you do somebody else's? Do you have a spouse or a child or somebody that?
Yeah,
You
I
can-
can do my husband's.
Yeah, that's kind of fun to see what year they're in.
So
Okay.
if your first number, your month and date is a double digit, you add that together to get a single number.
What's the month, 11 or 12?
So 5 and 9 would make 14, so that becomes a 5.
14/5, that's correct.
Mhm.
Who's in the 14/5? That's what I'm in.
Okay. Am
I
I
was
not-
5/9, which became a 14, and then it became a 5. So 1 and 4 became a 5, plus the 4 of 2020 gave me a 9.
That's correct. Perfect.
Okay.
I'm
Perfect.
not sure I've got this right. So 12 and 26 plus a 4 gives me 42.
So
Is that-
12 is a 3, 26 is an 8. That's 11. Plus the 4 is a 15-6.
15/6?
Yep. 8, 9,
15
10, 11.
becomes 6. 1 plus 5 equals
15
6.
because, okay, sorry.
Yeah.
What, that's
That's
why I'm
how
married
she-
to a math
that's-
teacher? I got
Yeah,
a math that does this stuff? Okay, with the 6. Got it.
Now it's
You're
kind
learning
of fun.
numerology lingo. It's the lingo of numerology. That's a 15/6 rather than 15, 1 plus 5. That'd be like kindergarten math. 1 plus 5 equals 6. Numerology is it's a 15/6.
Yeah, and I try not to do that because that confuses people, but it's just habit. It's not, but I try to be. So I'm just going to kind of read through the personal years so that you can kind of see now. For instance, 15/6, the 6th personal year. Listen to 5 because 5 was last year for you. Listen to 6 because 6 will be 2021 for you. Okay, it's kind of fun to look back because then that will go, oh yeah, that was a kind of a slow year. Or so the 1 personal year, remember, we plant the seed. This is about change, progress, new beginnings. It's it can even be a year where you change your thinking. You can change your whole course of life in a 1 personal year, or it can be just very minor. But it does have a lot of clarity. It does have a lot of energy. You feel good. You should feel invigorated, ready to take on the world. It's very important to set goals, seek out new opportunities. This is a good year to take a risk. It does allow you. There's some years we don't do that, but this is a good year for that.
Excuse me.
Certainly. 1 is about standing in its own power, standing on its own feet. It's not about leaning on other people. So in this year, you might be asked to make decisions that only you can make, you need to make. It wants you to be very independent. Could be a good year to start a business, could be a year to expand your business. But it's important that you do things for you. Very physical, very energetic. You could have a lot of ideas, creativity coming in, trying to figure out what that new thing is you want to start. Be assertive and be confident. Be self-reliant. If I was talking to you in November, preparing you for the next year, this is what I would be telling you. I would be saying, this is a good year for you to take over your life and make it what you want. Set your goals and go for it. Be confident. It's warrior energy. Is anybody in a 1 year that I'm reading right now? No?
Donna.
Yeah. Actually, I have 2 people in my house. I did everybody's.
Oh, good, good.
And
And
it's
they
really
had-
funny because it's my husband and my son.
Yeah.
And for my son, this is so true. It's very, very true. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now, in 2021, your husband and your son are going to be going into a 2 year. And the 2 personal year, things slow right down. 1 is very fast paced, is let's get her done. And 2 just kind of pulls everything back, and it wants you to think about things. It wants you to observe. It wants you to check out the details, make sure you've got everything in order. When you're in a 2 year, you can be tested because it's trying to help you learn being more diplomatic, more tactful, so that people could come out and kind of test that. Again, if I was reading for you in November, I would say, just go with it. Don't bother to fight, because in 2 energy, you're not going to win. So it wants you to be aware of how that's reacting with you and how you can handle that without pushing forward. 2 slows down, remember, so there's a lot of delays. Things aren't going as quickly as you want them to. It's all about patience. It's all about being compromising, working in groups, a lot of groups around. 2 is also very feminine energy, so they can bring in new friends, female friends around you, or female friends that are testing you too. Could be that. In the 1 energy, you had all these ideas, and I'm sure they're voicing them and talking about them. But when 2 is around, it's kind of important to hold those in and make sure you're getting everything right and you're getting it in order. The next year is the 3. This is when you're going to start to see manifestation. So just let everything, make sure you get it where you want it to be. Very important to be courteous to others and to focus on the details. 2 remembers the lover. Oh, it has a big heart. So there's going to be people that are going to come in and bring in new friends, partnerships, relationships. And remember, relationships is a very big word. It doesn't just mean a lover. It means it can mean somebody at work or just a new friend. 2, remember I told you it has a lot of sensitivity. It has very heightened sensitivity. It can cause anxiety. There's a lot of intuition that comes around when 2 is around. So it's important to listen to your gut. The energy will be a little bit lower, so rest, meditate if you meditate, or take that 20 minutes just to sit quietly in your chair. It's very important in the 2 year to keep peace and harmony. Like I said, fighting won't win when 2 is around. It's just not there. Anybody in a 2? Oh, who's in a 2? Cindy's in a 2, right?
Yep. That's, yep.
Yep, I'm in
Okay.
it as well.
So in the 2 years, Cindy, August was a 1 personal month. I think we talked about this. Did anything that you can remember that came forward in 1 that brought in something new?
I flew to Chicago to see my grandkids, so I kind of laid low in August, but I kind of made a decision that I had taken July off from doing these calls. So I had done 40 calls up to the end of June. And then the decision I made in August was like, I really missed it, that I wanted to come back to doing these Tuesday night calls again. So,
Yeah.
and then I got to play with my grandkids. So yeah.
So see, that's relationships, right? That's love.
Mm-hmm.
That's opening up your heart and being with the people you love.
Yeah.
3.
The other thing
that
came up with rest. I'll just add this one is on a shamanic journey last week was a rest, that you need more rest, like small rest breaks like throughout the day, so that to manage your energy, and so I did a journey. I said, well, what does rest look like? What would you like me to do? Power animals. And it was like, put your legs up the wall. Like, oh yeah, that'll make you rest because you can't do something else when you're doing that. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, right. Is there anybody else in a 2 year?
Yeah, I'm in it too.
Did you find it more quiet this year? A little more.
Definitely. We can't leave our house and
Right.
Yeah, very quiet. And not my favorite year. This hasn't been a great year.
Mm-hmm.
But I had a question about does the personal year start on your birthday of that year, or does it start on January 1st?
Actually, it starts in January, but you start to feel the influences of the next year, October, November, and December. So you're all going to start to feel the next year's energy coming in. It all kind of intermixes.
So your year doesn't start on your birthday. It starts at the start of the year.
When we're doing your chart, and not to get confusing, but birthday to birthday, I look at what we call transits and essences. That changes within your year.
Okay. Thank you.
So the 3 personal year, this is the year the universe wants us to go out and have fun. Wants us to be optimistic, playful, be out in a crowd. This is a great year for networking, for meeting new people. It's a funny thing. 3 was the hardest number for me to understand because I would say this to people and they would look at me like I had 2 heads. Because 3 is an emotional number. And if we don't stay on top of the 3, it can bring in depression. It can bring in a lot of emotions. Now, in a 3 personal year, you can be tested with those emotions by friends. Friends are big when 3 is around. But it does want you to have fun. It wants you to get out and do some creative talents and travel, social life. There are friends, old and new, that come in. New friends. Let's see. New friends. It could be in March or September. Yeah, but they can also challenge you too. 3 brings in worry. It brings in fretting. It can bring in impulsiveness. You have to be very careful that you're not jumping and not, all the facts, and try not to jump into something without kind of thinking it through. 3 is about words, so sometimes it's open mouth, insert foot. You have to be very careful that you think before you speak. It does want you to think about you, so it does bring in improvement, and that can be like a new hairdo or some new clothes, or maybe you decide to lose that 10 pounds that you need, or you go to get your massage. Whatever it makes you feel good, you really should be working on you, because it wants you to work on you. It wants you to learn how to speak your truth from your heart. And whether you're being tested but to have to do that, or you're really working on trying to do that. Who's in a 3 personal year?
Yeah, I've got a 3. I'm trying to figure out the fun part, but
Uh-huh.
it
Right.
was okay till March.
Right.
But the emotional stuff, I can see that
Right.
as a reaction to like COVID, basically. Yeah.
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 It does work on your heartstrings. It pulls on them. Wants
Yep.
you to really. It wants you to learn how to express exactly how you're feeling, and that's not easy for a lot of people. 3 is supposed to be a fun year, but it can be difficult if your core energy, the energy that makes you who you are, doesn't have 3 energy. It doesn't have compatible energy. The 4th year is buckle down. It's all about work. It's all about being practical. Like I always say, this is like the grown-up number. This is not the year to take vacations. Last year was the year to take vacations if you could. You can't this year, but if COVID wasn't around, I would be promoting that. This year is really wants you to get everything organized. It's very limiting. It's very restrictive. It's very hard. It's hard for a lot of people that might have 5 energy or need that extrovert time, because this doesn't want you to do that. It wants you to organize. It's good with finances in 4. A lot of times you can pull everything together and know exactly what's going out and what's coming in. Now, does it bring in money? Slow and steady. Slow and steady. The money will come in at the end of the year, but you have to work very hard to get to that point. 4 is about homes. So this is a great year to sell a home or move to a new home or travel, not travel, or rent, buying, selling, trading, remodeling, that project that you've been waiting for. This is the year that you want to do that. All about details and being honest and very ethical. Any white lines, they're going to come through this year. You'll be caught. It won't allow that. This is not a risk-taking year. It wants you to just really focus. Get plenty of rest and eat well. 4 is so restricted. And if you don't like the energy, if the energy doesn't feel comfortable for you and you keep trying to resist it and resist it, then it can bring on health problems that make you stay home in discipline. Go outside. 4 likes to be outside. That helps release a lot of that stress. Now, who's in a 4?
I am.
Yes, Miss Karen, that's right. And
Cindy is getting me organized.
yes, and you
Yeah.
took that class, that decluttering class. That was perfect for this energy.
It's amazing. And, you know, I was a little stressed out and tired just before the class, and I went outside and I found some tomatoes that were finally ripening. I mean, it's very late, but, you know, just going outside for 10, 15 minutes and filling the bird feeders is, you know, it's really nice for me. But I'm laying all the groundwork, though, you know, for the healing touch sessions are coming in like crazy. More calls this morning from a couple of new clients. It's just, and so I know I'm laying the groundwork. It feels pretty amazing.
And last year, were you organized?
No.
Yeah.
I couldn't focus on anything. Right. And I had a hard time too learning about the numbers. And this year, like it's just like flowing. I'm understanding it much better. It was, you felt a little like just frantic. Yeah, like our artist friend who's in a 3.
Right.
You know,
she can't even call us back.
Yeah, I know. So the woman who did all the illustrations, we were laughing one day, Sue and I, and she wouldn't return our calls, and I've known her for years and worked with her. And I said, boy, if I had to guess, Sue, I think she's in a 3. And Sue said, I think so too. And we knew nothing. And sure enough, she's in a 3.
Yeah. Yeah, we did a reading. So we forgive her because next year she'll be calling us and wanting to know why we're not grounded, right?
Right.
Okay, 5 personal. And this is why it's good to know other people's energy. Because you can understand them a little bit better. You can understand why they're withdrawing or they're not so social. Maybe they're in a 7-year or they're in a 1 year and they're just like going all the time and you wish they'd slow down a little bit. So it's kind of fun to know what your spouse or your children are in. Yes. 5 personal year is all about freedom. It wants expansion. It wants you to grow. It wants you, the limitations are gone. It wants you now to spread your wings and let the wind blow under, however that expression goes. 5 can bring in unexpected surprises. You don't, when you make a plan in a 5-year, always have a plan B because it doesn't necessarily go the way you think it is. A lot of irons in the fire. A lot of things get going. So you're kind of like a rolling stone. You have to be very careful that you ground yourself because 5 is a really very grounded. It wants that freedom that it lost last year. Now, isn't it interesting? 2020 is a 4-year and it's all about restrictions and limitations. That's exactly what we're all feeling, right? By being quarantined, teaching us. But next year there should be a little bit of type of expansion. This is a good year to take a risk. Allow yourself to do some things that you maybe wouldn't think you could do. Travel, new experience, great year for communication, getting out, promoting yourself, having fun with all the people around you. When I do readings, 1, 5, and 9 are the most active years. Those are the years a lot of times people will call me and say, well, I don't understand what's going on because there's just the energy is just pushing you. It wants you to be very flexible. It wants you to allow the variety to come in. It wants you to get your toes wet and those things that maybe you wouldn't necessarily do. And you have to be very careful of overindulgence. Sometimes the fun and the not feeling so grounded, you just kind of eat too much or drink too much wine. Anybody in a 5?
Oh yeah, that's me. I've been eating nonstop all this year.
Yeah, I know.
It's stress eating though. And my daughter is also in a 5, but she is in the UK
Mhm.
on a work visa. And then the pandemic hit. So,
So
you know,
did she go to the UK this year, or did she go last year? Or
no, she left in October, but she's been there during all this, staying with her boyfriend. That you know, her plans did. It said have a plan B. Oh, totally. You know, she
Right.
had plan B, and my plan to go visit her. You know, I think everybody at this point is in a 5.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Yeah, readings took on a little bit of a slide there for a while. They were, you know, it's hard. But it was interesting to read when we're quarantined and you got a 5 energy. How can you help yourself to have a little bit of that freedom? You got to find those weekend trips or those day trips that you get to the ocean or you get to the mountain and do some climbing. There has to be something. We have to step outside of the box and think other than what we normally would have thought. So it was kind of fun for me in my readings because it kind of helped me grow and understand.
Well, what I do like about this year is that it does give a new kind of freedom. And that is this Zoom meeting. I don't think I would be doing if this pandemic hit. And I'm doing a lot of online Zoom meetings and working from home. It's very different. And I like that freedom
Right.
of rolling in my bed, you know, 3 minutes before I have to work.
Right.
It's
Yeah.
great.
But isn't that true, Cindy? I mean, my business picked up. Before it's COVID, people would go, Zoom? I'm not doing a Zoom. But now that's all we do.
Yeah.
It's been wonderful to connect.
It's connected people, and it connected people across Canada. So I have done training across Canada and the US and be able to have them all in one meeting and stay connected and not have to think, when can I fly? You know, where am I going to stay? What location am I going to use for a workshop? All that thinking stuff that I don't really like. I can just be in my treatment room
Right.
here and connect with everybody.
Right. And below this is my jammies. Not really.
Too much
No, not
information.
really. I got my
Much
jeans
information.
on.
Oh, yeah.
What's nice is my dad is 92 and lives in Toronto, and so too my nieces. And every Sunday night we play. It's a game called euchre. It's an Eastern game, and we Zoom and we play, and it's been really good for relationship for Grandpa because he gets to hang out with his grandkids, and he plays Tuesdays with the ones that are in Victoria and Vancouver. So for
That's
him, it's been
wonderful.
really quite good.
Yeah. There are a lot of good things that are coming out of all of this. There really are. Okay, the 6th personal year. This brings in relationships.
This is me. I'm 6.
You're 6. It brings in family, friends, and community. And this year is the year when it feels like there's an awful lot of people needing you, needing your help. It's duties and responsibility. This is a year where there can be a wedding, a new child, something that comes into the family. It can also, relationships are the number one focus. So if your relationship is good, it gets better. If it's not good, it can slide backwards. They can be tests, yeah. Now, the lesson in this year is, like I said, a lot of people needing you. So you have to learn not to be the doormat. You have to learn when it's appropriate for you to lend that helping hand, or when it's appropriate for you to say, no, I think you better take care of that and do that. Is this a good year for money? Actually, 6 is a very nice number. I love 6 because it's lucky. It brings in lucky breaks. it's a blessed number. Actually, it's the most balanced number there is. So you could receive a promotion or increase in pay, but sometimes too that comes with a little added responsibility because of the sixth energy.
I'm retired and I'm making money because I'm not spending it. I'm not going anywhere.
There you go.
We
Yeah.
got one tank of gas in the boat. That's
There
all
you
like unheard of. So yeah, I'm making money.
That's
One day.
wonderful. Yay. Anybody else in a 6 year? The 7 year is the year of the sabbatical. This is the year where you pull back. You're doing self-reflection. It's time for you. It's time for you to think about the past, the where you are, the future. It wants you to do. You could even be doing research on something or studying something. This is the year spiritual teachers come to you. Intuition is very high. Dreams are going. It's is anybody in a 7 year?
I am.
Do you find that you're just kind of like rather pull back and just kind of not be so outgoing as you have maybe last year? Or?
I don't know, but you said something about dreams, and my dreams are crazy, and I have all kinds of very, how could I put it? Like the dreams have a lot of symbolism in them, and they have a lot of symbolism and stuff that I turn around, and I actually talk to my sister a lot about my dreams because I'm like, what on earth do you think this dream means? And I start telling her about it, and she'll look at me, and then she'll call me back and she says, oh, that was interesting because it just came to me. And she'll start rattling things off because of the symbolism in the dreams.
Yeah, oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a good year for you to take a class if you wanted to do to develop the workshop.
She's doing now. Yeah.
Doing what?
She's taking a class right now.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
It's perfect. It's a perfect year for where you're focused. You want to learn. This is the year where you kind of dig beneath the soil and you're just trying to really find the mysteries of life, look at things in a little bit different way. Now, you have to be very careful of your health in this year because if you don't slow down, the universe sometimes has a tendency to slow us down when 7 is around because it really wants you to do some soul searching. And I don't mean that like COVID or anything. I just mean a flu or cold. It just seems to be slow down.
Yeah.
It's not a physical year by any means. It wants you to use your mind.
Oh, well, that's what I'm doing. Perfect.
It is perfect. It is. Because it will
It's not like I
change.
can do too much else.
It will change a little bit and start to ramp up a little bit. The energy will. The 8th personal year is all about accomplishments and achievements. Remember, if you had walked away from the garden in the 5th year, you get some tomatoes. If you stayed there and worked hard, you're going to get a lot of tomatoes. You reap what you sow when 8 is around. So, and the accomplishment, promotions, recognitions, compliments, they come at the end of this year. It's not at the beginning. You're still working on those, but they will come at the end of this year. This is a year to use good judgment, be practical, efficient, resourceful. Remember, 8 is about material success, material reward. There could have been a big ticket item that you have to buy this year. And also, I always say in an 8 year, it's good to tuck a little bit of money away because it could be an expenditure that comes through that you were unexpecting. But if it doesn't come through, then you've got that little bit extra money to go do something fun. This can be the biggest money-making year of the 9-year epicycle. But again, it's you reap what you sow if you put in the energy. Very important. 8 has a big connection to finances. So watch how how your bills are working and make sure everything is in order. And this too is another help year, only because working too hard. Is anybody in an 8?
My husband is, but he's retired and he's not spending any money either. Any other money either.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
making money.
yeah. The 9
My husband's been an 8 too. And he just got a promotion.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Right. He's put in the work. Yeah. That's wonderful.
That's great.
9 personal year. We got to rototill the garden. We got to clean things out. This is the year to purge what is no longer serving your greatest and your highest good. Now, this could be as simple as cleaning out the closets and getting rid of the stuff that you're not using anymore, and giving it to Salvation Army or some organization that gives it to other people, because that's a humanitarian thing to do. It is a lower energy year. It can be a very emotional year. 9 is an emotional number. Lack of energy. You need to honor this with rest and self-love. 9 has a tendency to bring in drama. Why is that? Because it's teaching you unconditional love, forgiveness, and letting go. So when that appears, you have to just push it away and know that it's not yours. You don't need to be involved, and just step back. It also supports music, and it supports the arts. I know we can't get out, but there's things on TV and that kind of might pique your interest when you're in a 9 year. Creativity becomes higher. 9s are very creative in many ways, yeah. Also another good financial year, but this is the year to pay off debt, because endings and completions. Get rid of it. You're going to start a new year next year, so you want to be all prepared. And I really, the more you can get rid of this year, the wider that door can swing open next year in the 1 personal year to bring in the new beginnings. Is there any questions?
I'm a 9 year, and that's exactly what I've been doing, is cleaning out closets and.
Yeah. And that's not a coincidence. You don't, I mean, that's the energy pushing you to do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a coincidence.
Mm-mm.
You know.
It's like, I gotta do some more though. There's more closets. There's
Yeah, I know. There's
Yeah,
always something.
always more.
Always more. Well, do you have any questions for me? I enjoyed talking about numerology.
So
I've gone over my time, I can see.
well, how would we have you do a reading for us? How would we accomplish that?
You would go to healingnumbers22.com, and you go right into the reading section, and you choose what you want. It takes you right into my calendar, and you set up the time that's convenient for you. I can Zoom with you, or I can do it by phone, however you want to do it. But it's all in my website, so that when you sign up, everything's in order. And as soon as you sign up, within 24 hours, I reach out to let you know that I've received your request and that I'm can't wait to read for you.
Can I just confirm that when we were saying the numbers, that number 6, for example, 9 is next year, not this year, or was it this year?
The universal year?
Yes, so mine was 6, so that's this year, everything we said.
Right, that's correct. And
Okay.
2021, you'll be going into the 7 year.
Okay, that's what I was
Which
just.
I think Cindy's in, right? Cindy's in a 7 year, right?
I'm in a 2. I'm going into 3.
Oh, you're in a 2 year, right. Right. Yeah. Next year is the 8 year for you. Yeah. I really enjoy talking with everybody, and I appreciate you all coming.
Thank you very much for presenting. It was really quite interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, thanks for the help with the math. Once I got the math, I was okay.
There you go. It's really, you just got to do it a couple of times, then you understand. Yeah.
I got it. Sure. And it was nice
Yeah,
to see
it's very
everybody.
interesting.
Now my calendars will be, hopefully if I get everything done in my website, should be on sale starting next month, probably in the middle of next month. So you got to get a calendar, and then you'll be invited to the calendar group, which we get together the first Thursday of every month at 6 o'clock, and we talk for an hour about the energy last month and what's happening this month, the next month. And that's a lot of fun.
Excellent. Thank you, Sue. I really appreciate
Thank you
that.
very
And I'll
much.
send out the recording tomorrow, and I'll send your contact information.
Now,
Also, it's also on the MailChimp ad that they got. I think I put your email address and your
the other thing
website.
is sign up for my newsletter. There's a 20% coupon.
All right.
Any reading?
We like deals.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
And
do.
when
Wonderful.
we're being Canadian, that would really help because everything in American dollar is, it's a lot more. So I'm definitely going to sign up and get the 20%. And
There you go. There you go. Nice.
Very
I
good.
thank everybody for coming.
you.
Okay, thank you very much,
Thank
Sue.
you.
Bye. Thank you,
Thanks
Cindy.
for organizing, Cindy.
Bye.
Great.
Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
you're
Thanks,
welcome.
Cindy, for
Bye.
organizing it. Bye-bye, everyone.
Oh, welcome, Donna. Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Thanks for joining, Sherry, and good to see you again, Gabby. It's all good.
Yeah. Yeah. Hey, Cindy, I had a quick question for you. When do you, what time do you need those logos for your meeting
it's
tomorrow?
It's 11 a.m. 11 a.m. Eastern
Okay, I'll
Daylight Time.
I'll send it tonight.
Okay.
Because then I don't have to worry. I have pottery class tomorrow morning, so
Well, that's a priority. That is a priority for self-care. So
yeah.
Right.
Oh, I know. And since I had a flat tire and I don't have a car right now, they just towed it away. So I'm getting picked up extra early. I called and arranged a ride. So yeah.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Sue, I'm wondering if the shingles has changed your auric field, because the last time I was with you, you had a big auric field, and then Karen and I, when we were working together, she had a big auric field, because it was like crystal clear. I know it was 9 in the morning when we did that video, but I asked my pendulum, and my pendulum said that the shingles has changed your aura because it's just like a haze over you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I feel good though. I can't
Oh, good.
believe the work that you guys did. Sunday morning, I got up and I went, I've rounded the corner. I feel great. I mean, my eye was still doing that, but physically, I felt great.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
great.
beautiful. I
Yeah.
appreciate it so much.
Oh,
You're
welcome. It was great. Yeah, Cindy, our ships didn't connect on Friday. Remember, Sue? I think you fell asleep early or something. So I worked on her on a Saturday and Sunday around 5 o'clock, right? We started, I think, at the end of each day. And that was great because then you just chilled for the rest of the night.
Yeah.
And it was really good. It was,
yeah, I was
well,
really
then she would have slept better too. She would have slept better too,
yeah.
right?
I slept 12 hours both nights.
wow.
I love to
Wow.
sleep anyway.
Yeah.
Sleeping is something I love. Yeah, but I thank you so much. And I thank you, Cindy, for having this. I really enjoyed it. I had fun.
I think everybody enjoyed it. Yeah.
It's a good group. It's a good group, and they ask good questions. And
yeah, and I love
and they're
that.
interested.
Right.
They're interested to learn, right? So,
right. Yeah. Okay, I'm going to go get my
Okay.
jammies on. Night, everybody.
Okay.
Thank you.
It was great.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.